Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today we have guests from a whole array of different projects, coming from the Lab Zero ecosystem to the Ethereum ecosystem, the ICP ecosystem, as well as Galileo. So I just wanted to start this off with an introduction, how you got into crypto, and just a little bit about your project in general. So I'll start off with Zach.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Thanks, Darren, for hosting this. And it's good to see a bunch of different projects on the call. My name is Zach Atkins. I represent Galileo Protocol. So I handle in I'm based in the U.S., but we're a largely European team, and so I'm the director general. And I guess that's a common term in Europe that isn't as common in the U.S. But I'm the director general for strategic operations at Galileo Protocol. So essentially, that means I just handle all of the and oversee all of the day to day from marketing to sales to growth, kind of all of those good departments. Um, I think the question is how I got into crypto. Is that right? Yeah. So I got into crypto as well initially as an investor, going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, and then shifting to learning about Ethereum, and then went down kind of the altcoin investment track, and then started building Discord servers for companies, and I actually built Galileo's Discord server, and so that's how I got connected there and shifted to make it kind of more of a full time profession. So I'll hand it over to the next guy.
Thanks. Ross, can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm sure that I will share some insights about tokenization and real-world assets. I'm Ross Shemaliak. I'm the co-founder and COO at Stobox. We are already 5 years in tokenization and in RVA. Currently, we are top 5 turnkey tokenization providers with more than 60 clients tokenized, with more than 300 millions in form of assets tokenized of our clients. We have already built 3 blockchain-based products for Web3 for real-world assets that we are running. And we started this journey in 2018 with the idea to merge the traditional financial instruments and financial industry with blockchain, because I have more traditional backgrounds. And that time, STO was something new, and everyone on the conferences and the events wanted to receive the legal opinion that they are not as securities, but they're utilities. That's why we recognize that it is a good idea to start researching deeply about tokenization and about security tokens. And it is very interesting that the industry itself started with abbreviation STO, security token offering, but currently turned to RVA, real world assets. So we have a big traction in this field, and looking forward for our conversation.
Thanks. And Jake, can you tell us about Kinetic?
Sure. So I'm Jake. I'm kind of the communications director for Kinetic, which is a lending protocol that is soon to launch on the Flare network. We're the first lending protocol coming on Flare. And kind of our role is to kick off DeFi. So allowing the supplying, lending, and borrowing of assets. We recently launched our utility token, Jewel, which has been really exciting. Everybody has had absolutely no complaints about anything working correctly, as typically happens in Web3. Everything works very smoothly, and no one ever has a mean word to say about it. No, but we're really excited. Soon we'll be rolling out our full features, which is something everybody's been waiting for. It's an interesting situation on Flare, where it's going to be very quiet, and then suddenly there's going to be a big explosion of all these partners and features and things coming at the same time. So it's really exciting, and it's been really easy working with a bunch of very, very separate protocols and partners and corralling them and getting them all together to launch really quickly together. Not been difficult at all, but happy to be here. Happy to talk about some RWAs. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jake. And Michael, can you give us an introduction about yourself and Gold DAO?
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot. Yeah, my name is Michael, and I'm a major contributor and responsible for growth at the project called Gold DAO. I'm part of the core team developing and growing the Gold DAO. So we'll get into why I got here after, but just real quick, Gold DAO. So it's a real world asset project where we tokenize physical gold bars into, we call them GLD NFTs, so gold NFTs. And then those gold NFTs into gold tokens, which are fundable. We call them GLDT. And then out of that, gold-backed stablecoins, which we call USDG. So the DAO is governed by its community through gold gov tokens, and the gold DAO enables thereby decentralized decision making for the whole gold DAO. So in this way, with the gold NFTs tokenizing real gold bars, and then the gold tokens and the gold-backed stablecoin with this chain of tokens, we can basically remove all financial intermediaries and have a fully decentralized gold-backed stablecoin. So this is what we're launching. And with this way, we also imagine a future of PayFi with gold-backed stablecoins. So mobile payments, mobile wallet payments with gold-backed stablecoins. We think that this is the future. Yeah? So this is the background to the project. And why I'm here is because actually I used to build quantum computers, which was like the future, and it's very, very far in the future. So then I decided that's a bit too far in the future for me. So I did some real world IT management consulting, and then I thought, okay, this is also not enough futuristic. So then I said I need to go back to something more to the future. And then I decided to join blockchain because I was so privately passionate about Web3 and decentralization privately. So that's why 2 years ago I joined the Web3 industry. And since a year, I'm with the Gold DAO, and also newly now as a second hat COO at Biddy, which is a crypto broker regulated in Switzerland that has a strategic partnership with the Gold DAO. And Biddy is actually the company, it's Biddy.com, Biddy, the company that's launching the primary gold NFT market. Yeah, and launching the RWA platform and marketplace for secondary trading of gold NFTs and other asset-backed tokenized NFTs like diamonds and so forth. So yeah, that's a quick intro.
Thanks. We'll have to invite you to the quantum panel next. Sorel, could you tell us about yourself and CrowdGenix?
Yeah, sure. So hi, everyone. Good to be here. And thank you for the invite. Well, I started crypto in 2019. At the beginning, I was mainly focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I had the chance to become one of some of the strategy consultants for financial services in Southeast Asia. And I see the gap, that there is a gap between the DeFi and TradFi. So basically, that's how we started CrowdGenix. So I'm one of the co-founders of CrowdGenix. And in a nutshell, what we're doing is essentially we're providing a regulated platform for tokenizing, investing, trading, and storing alternative assets. And we are primarily focusing on commodity-based assets like agriculture, energy, and mining. But in the near future, we will also expand to other asset classes, including arts and financial, like investment funds, private equity funds, because we have seen some tractions lately, especially coming from the private equity funds in Spain and in other parts of Europe, where they want to tokenize the funds and offer them to not only mass affluent, but also retail investors. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. And we're currently obtaining a license in Spain and also in the European Union. So hopefully we can get the license within the next 2 to 3 months.
Thanks. And so I wanted to ask about like each individual project, if you could elaborate a bit more on the actual project and what sector of real world assets. I know everybody has like a little bit, people are a little bit more specified in other areas than some other projects are. So Zach, we'll start back with you. Can you talk a little bit more about Galileo and what it's specified to do over other protocols?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're an application layer that runs right now on top of Ethereum and Polygon. but we put luxury assets on chain. So we're a luxury asset tokenization platform, and we recently launched a marketplace to display the technology and onboard traditional luxury brands to this idea of Web3 and how it can benefit them from the traceability standpoint, from the authentication standpoint. The origin of this luxury asset. Counterfeiting is a huge problem within the industry, and so essentially that's we're providing that solution. So we're putting luxury assets on chain.
Thanks. And Ross, can you talk a little bit more about your platform and what it specializes in?
Sure, thank you. So we in Stobox, we solely focusing currently around their private capital and private companies, small and medium enterprises that we already tokenized 60 of them. So our unique selling point that we providing a turnkey solution, it means that we're covering all of the stages of their STO for the last 5 years, starting from the consultancy, because most of our clients do not understand and navigate in tokenization, and we advise how to legally structure it, their tax implications, diving into the business model to understand how tokenization can be feasible. So it's like preliminary stage of the STO, and we acting as a consultants. Also, we help with the legal management of the process, and for the last 5 years, mainly in the beginning of our journey, we spent more than $1 million, not only spent but invested in our experience to lawyers to educate them with our money what tokenization is. And since that time, we created our own analytical department and already analyzed more than 100,000 hours of research of different nuances, cases, regulations, and accumulated this perfect knowledge that we share with the clients. For example, our YouTube channel, Stobox YouTube channel, it is the biggest in tokenization and RVA in the world, with more than 50,000 subscribers and 1 million so views, where we also digest about the tokenization. So we have like consultancy arm where we're covering consulting and the legal management of the STO process. The second arm in our business, it is technical arm, because Stobox, it is technology company, and we have built 3 blockchain products. The first one, DS Dashboard, Digital Securities Dashboard, we released more than 4 years ago. It was one of the first STO platforms in the world. And it is a platform, white label SaaS platform, software as a service, for their primary issuance of security tokens. And in 2019, we received the award as the best tokenization platform of the year from ABC Summit. The second platform that we have, it is DS Swap, Digital Security Swap. We released this product more than 3 years ago, and it was one of the first DEXs, so decentralized exchanges, legally optimized compliance for trading of security tokens. And we conducted the first case of secondary market of security tokens on our DEX on a Binance Smart Chain with our first client, Landshare. It is US-based real estate. It is the second product. And the third product that we have, it is Soulbound ID. It is a verification layer where you one-time pass KYC, and because we are all of the products are fully Web3, you pass KYC one time, and then through the smart contracts, through the Soulbound technology, access our ecosystem because you verified. As so far, we have more than 60,000 registrants in Stobox ecosystem. More than 20,000 of them are already verified, and more than 14,000 are already minted decentralized identity to their wallets that is publicly seen in Explorers, for example, and it means that they can access our ecosystem. For example, just a few weeks ago, we partnered with ICM Capital, it is royal family from Qatar, and we'll tokenize for them additionally $300 million of their assets. And what they do, they build in a shrimp farm in the desert of Qatar. So more than 50% from all of our clients are from real estate, and another 50 from nature resources, from their energy sector, like solar system, right? And common businesses like manufacture or common private companies, investment funds. They are mainly from US, from Canada, from UK, and from Dubai. So it's like brief introduction about our activities. And what we do what we are developing now, so what is currently under the developing and not live yet, it is the next version of our full ecosystem, and it will be built on top of the Fireblocks, where the Fireblocks will act non-custodial wallet generator. And we're building it with the expertise with Arbitrum, with our partners, with IDOS, with Fractal ID, with EuroS. Stasis, it is the biggest Euro stable coin. With Chainlink, with Chainalysis. So we have a lot of partners that will be included there, and it will be like one window, one platform for the primary, for the secondary, for the verification, and target not only the private capital where we're focusing now, but also will target their tokenization of via NFTs, tokenization of private securities, tokenization of T-bills, and we are communicating with Maple Finance and guys from Ondo Finance and Open Eden about merging their tokenized treasuries with our platform. So it's what we're building now, and this product will be live by the end of this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Ross. And Jake, can you just kind of briefly describe what's going on with Kinetic?
So, people always ask me, what kind of process is there for adding assets, whether it's blockchain assets or real world assets, as we're talking about today. The answer is pretty simple for us. It's always just a matter of liquidity. So we can support any asset if there is a large amount of liquidity on chain. That's the biggest sticking point, because we want to make sure that it's safe to borrow and lend, and also it's not easy for bad actors to manipulate the price and cause liquidations for people who are invested in our system. So something that's unique about the Flare network is what's coming up is Layer Cake, which is a native bridge system for Flare. If you're not familiar with Flare, they also have a native price oracle that they work on, which is really beneficial for us because we've got something right there and ready. We can talk to the Flare team easily if we ever have any issues. Layer Cake, their bridge is not out yet, but there has been a lot of discussion about incorporating the tokenization of real world assets into that. What we're excited most right now with that is so it can basically take non-smart contract tokens like Bitcoin, Doge, and make native wrapped versions for the Flare network that you can easily use in Flare DeFi. So that's something that's kind of to the future. That's really exciting, and I'm sure as real world assets get tokenized, that's something else that we'll be happy to incorporate.
Thanks, Jake. And Michael, can you elaborate on Gold DAO and some of its purposes?
Yes. So Gold DAO, it's a project built on the Internet Computer Protocol. There's very specific reasons why we use this third generation blockchain, because it offers a full tech stack, and this is what enables us to do what we want to achieve with the Gold DAO, and we think is not possible on any other blockchain. Mainly because when we tokenize physical gold bars into NFTs, then this one-to-one link of ownership needs to be very, very strong. And so how do you do this? It's only possible if you can put a lot of data inside your NFT and store it on the chain. So these gold bars, they have serial numbers, high resolution photographs, which we all pack inside the gold NFT. And this is only possible on ICP, and this is why we use it. So once you tokenize these gold bars, you have this kind of transparent, trustless solution to build a gold-backed stablecoin. And I'll explain how this works. It's a chain of tokens, which is very interesting to understand, and then you realize why then you can make the most transparent and trustless gold-backed stablecoin in the world, compared to other stablecoins and types of stablecoins that we know from the past. They don't work. Either the algorithmic stablecoins, they're not trustworthy, they don't work. We have stablecoins that are issued by central issuers like Tether, which no one really knows what's backing it one-to-one, right? So So let me start with these three tokens. So it starts with the gold NFT, which is using a very specific protocol, NFT protocol called the Origin NFT protocol. It's an RWA protocol on ICP. This is what we use to tokenize the gold bars. By the way, they're stored in a Swiss vault and audited by KPMG. And the gold comes from Metalo, which is one of the biggest gold refiners in the world. So then when you buy this gold NFT, you have this one-to-one ownership of this gold bar, fully decentralized, transparent, no intermediate. And then you can lock up this gold NFT inside a smart contract, which we call the GLDT swap app. So you lock up your gold NFT, and then the fungible gold tokens get minted. We call them GLDT, fungible gold token. So you have to lock up your gold bar in the smart contract, and then the gold tokens get minted. So now you have a gold token, GLDT, which is 100% one-to-one backed by real gold bars in Swiss vaults. And who's the issuer? Where there is no central issuer. It's the smart contract on ICP, where the gold tokens, the gold NFTs are locked. So you don't need to trust any company. And the locked gold bars in the smart contract are verifiable and transparent. Because imagine if we would move the gold bars and do something with them, then we'd have to, when we resell them, we wouldn't be able to get the same serial number, right? So you can actually go and have it audited that these gold bars have never moved, right? Okay, so now we have this gold token, which is fungible. And based on this gold token, we can imagine lots of DeFi applications based on this real-world asset platform, the gold token. And specifically, what we're planning on launching is a US dollar pegged gold-backed stablecoin based on this gold token. So you'll be able to then swap the gold token for the USDG, the US dollar pegged gold-backed stablecoin, which is fully backed by gold then. And so now you can use this USDG stablecoin for all the purposes that we use stablecoins. Like today, everybody's using USDT or USDC from Circle. You can now use the USDG, with the difference that here, you're now certain that this is one-to-one backed by gold through this chain of tokens. It's verifiable, trustless, transparent, and you can use this for payments, for utility, for DeFi, whatever you want, payment system, etc. So we imagine kind of a new world of PayFi, global mobile payment system based on these gold-backed stablecoins. So this is the big plan with USDG, which is the end goal of the Gold DAO. Yeah. So quick overview of how the project works.
Thank you. And Thrall, can you go over CrowdGenX? Can you elaborate on CrowdGenX?
Sure. So what we're offering to our clients is an end-to-end asset tokenization platform. We cover the entire value chain of asset tokenization, from the tokenization to primary and the secondary market. We have the SPV infrastructure in Luxembourg, and our client is they are typically either family offices in Spain or high net worth families in Spain and also in southern part of Europe. And they want to, so they have a lot of illiquid assets, but they don't necessarily cash rich some of these high net worth families. So they would like to tokenize these assets in order to gain the liquidity. And that's the reason why they typically work with us. They want to tokenize, for example, it's quite common in Spain here. They have quite significant number of lands, like farmlands or forests, and they would like to tokenize these assets. So what we do is typically we will wrap these assets into an SPV in Luxembourg using our SPV infrastructure. And then we tokenize the share of the SPV and then creating the fungible tokens. And then once we create these fungible tokens, then we can launch them in the primary market offerings. At the moment, it's still private offerings because we're still waiting for the license. But later on, once we get the license, then we can offer both private and public offerings targeting both institutional and retail investors in the European Union. So that's the product. The first one is tokenization engine. The second one is the primary market. And then in early 2025, we will launch the secondary market, which is essentially the exchange for the security tokens. I think it's going to take some time, mainly because of the regulation with the new DLT pilot regime here in the European Union. But yeah, we are currently building the technology for the secondary market. But I guess in terms of public launch, it's gonna take some time until early next year.
Thanks. And so I wanted to ask everybody about just the opportunities they see unfold as more real world assets come on chain, and just basically the benefits of having a real world asset on chain versus having it securitized or some of the other older technologies. Zach, can we start with you?
Yeah, I can start. As far as benefits on chain, so I mean, our solution specifically is tying and at the forefront of merging the digital and the physical. So we are using NFTs, what we call PNFTs or physical NFTs, to create that digital twin for the physical item that is now you're able to have transparency into that full life cycle of the item. So that's such a big question as far as the implications of like with us as far as securitizing an asset. We're directly looking at the full life cycle. So making a digital trail for this physical item and providing transparency to that. So to us, it's I mean, we're dealing with more I don't commodities probably isn't the right term, but we're dealing with different types of items that typically aren't labeled as securities or anything along those lines. They're more kind of alternative type investments, or even just like right now, our products are buy and redeem. So you have you see a bottle of luxury wine and you want to buy and redeem it. We will have products that are more investable. I mean, we have one listed that that is a I'm gonna blank on the actual name of the watch, but it's a Rolex. It's a very famous Rolex, and it's listed for over $1 million right now. So that would be an investment grade product, but still in the buy and redeem mechanism. But I don't know if I'm answering your question exactly, but because we're kind of unique and we're not dealing with securities to the same extent that say CrowdGenics is, or Kinetic is with borrowing and lending and that nature. So maybe
There's
guess
no
we're
wrong
unique in
answer,
that.
Zach, but I imagine that the liquidity is probably really fragmented in the luxury goods space. By having it more open and global, it probably presents a lot more opportunities. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, part of the design and for us wanting to first launch on Ethereum and Matic is or Polygon is that there's a lot more liquidity there. But the grand vision is to be multi-chain so that you can go where have some fluidity with where the liquidity goes, and but yeah, it unlocks my mind was blown. I'm somewhat in like I got into the space as a recreational investor. Like I just saw the value of Bitcoin, and I'm someone that is now like shifted into where I collect NFTs and but all of that preamble to say that I was blown away by with the ordinals movement on Bitcoin, and that I could not believe what the difference in, let's say, a network that has $1 trillion market cap and that level of liquidity versus something small on the smaller end of the spectrum. So yes, especially as adoption grows, we're going to see this inflow of liquidity across a bunch of different chains that will then allow for this kind of more seamless flow of assets and more opportunity to either sell or at least know kind of the worth and value of your physical asset in a new way that hasn't really been seen before.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. Ross, can you just kind of talk about the benefits of having real world assets on chain versus having them more in a centralized database?
Sure, thank you. It is a great question, by the way. And let's start from an insight for our listeners. I think that the biggest example and the greatest example of real-world assets, it is a stable coins itself, USDT, EURS, or USDC, because what you have their common fiat currencies that are in banks, right? That are tokenized and represented in form of tokens. So it is the great example and implication of the tokenized assets. Mainly, I may say that the benefits of assets tokenized are fundraising, because through their tokenized assets, you have one window through which you can completely online, globally compliant, in a simple way, fundraise around the world. Around the world, of course, under the securities laws, but it makes the process simpler, and it is open the liquidity, because you, as a private company, you have the opportunity to open the liquidity for your private company without being public, and it is the game changer. It opens wide opportunities for the small businesses. And also, it's not just about the fundraising and about the liquidity. It is in general acting as a private company, because when we tokenized ourselves, Stobox, more than 4 years ago, we distributed the shares between founders. We can benefit our team by KPIs in real shares of our company. We can see and store the shareholders of our company completely online. We can conduct a corporate voting. We can conduct the dividend payments in one click. So it's like cap table management. It is not only about the fundraising. And we have a case of our client that has more than 1 million of investors. And of course, with a paper-based securities, it is very challenging to manage it. For example, the dividend payments or just the communications. Also, we see a big implication of assets tokenized with T-bills. Currently, it is a big traction in RVA. So what are benefits of T-bills? So you're opening the African region, for example, that are unbanked, and providing them the opportunity to participate in public securities or government treasuries of Apple, Microsoft, or treasuries of US government, without having laptop, just your mobile phone and internet for their unbanked community. Also, what I believe that tokenization brings a real value for the small businesses, because imagine you have a restaurant, right? And you have your customers. Why would you not tokenize yourself and provide for your existing customer the opportunity to participate, for example, not only in securities, but in revenue share of your business that will digest about your activities and will be fans of your project. And here you can bring some utility and some real implication for your small business. So I think it is one of the missions of Stobox to bring tokenization on the streets, to get the real value. So it is my thoughts.
Thank you. And Jake, can you talk about kinetics and how real world assets and borrowing and lending can play a role with real world assets?
So, I definitely like what you were saying there. There's lots of gatekeepers in finance. There's lots of gatekeepers when you're dealing with lending and borrowing specifically. So, we share a similar mission to enable those who typically would not be able to make decisions, make financial strategies, use assets in a way they couldn't before. Regular folks able to do that. With lending and borrowing in real world assets, our role is pretty simple. Once there's a large amount of liquidity available for us to enable that system, then it's very easy to get that online and enable people to use RWAs for lending and borrowing. So yeah, just a matter of liquidity. I guess a specific number, a good starting number is about $100,000 one-sided on the asset itself. But yeah, pretty simple for us. Getting it over here, making sure it's secure and stuff is other people's job. Luckily, I don't have to deal with that myself.
Yeah, but just borrowing and lending with the pairing it to real world assets is probably going to open up immense opportunities. If you think about like the whole traditional markets, it's, you know, shorting and longing, everything is just borrowing and lending. So, you know, it's just a fundamental design that's needs to be there.
Yeah, it's all about kind of broadening our horizon in what people can interact with. You know, for Flare, that's non-smart contract tokens is a big thing. Real world assets will obviously be a bigger thing. Anything that kind of opens different assets to our space is ultimately going to be good. Is going to drive volume. Is going to drive activity, and is really exciting.
Michael, can you? I know you kind of touched on this earlier, but can you kind of extrapolate on just the benefits of real world assets on
Yes.
chain?
Yes, for sure, for sure. The other speakers have brought a lot of very good points on explaining why it's just almost always better to tokenize the real world assets instead of securitizing them. I'll give a more specific answer with the gold case. So if you securitize gold, which well, of course many companies do, and it's omnipresent in the world, paper gold and so forth. If you securitize it, then you can't do anything with it other than invest for investment purposes. But if you tokenize it, then you can do things with it. Like specifically, you can make stable coins, which is what the previous speaker, who was it? Sarah or Jake, who was saying about the stablecoin use case, right? Then you can have a huge utility just by being able to make stablecoins. I mean, the stablecoins market is growing. Everyone sees the use for it. We definitely see a growing future for stablecoins, and stablecoins are they're like an asset. It's one of the like you said, one of the most important assets for everyone that everyone uses. So people want to have it backed by something, and if you tokenize the gold, then not only can you do stuff with it, but specifically, then your assets are digitally native. They're digitally native and enforced on chain, which means that this is something you don't get, for example, if you securitize it and have your digital assets sit on AWS, right? If you do it on chain and enforce them, it's digitally native, and you can make sure that there's a trust 360 degrees, right? So especially powerful it becomes when you add on top of this on-chain computing power, which of course you can't do with older blockchains that have only very small data capacities on chain, like Ethereum or so. You have to use a more modern chain, like for example the internet computer, which is like a world computer where you can have on-chain massive on-chain computing power and storage. So then when you combine ICP as the blockchain together with a powerful RWA protocol like the Origin protocol, together with the Gold DAO, then you can go all the way to this fully on-chain, decentralized stablecoin use case, tokenized asset, right, for the gold. And everyone knows you don't want to put your wealth and funds into stablecoins that you can't trust, like USDT or USDC. And when you don't have to use a stablecoin, you can also just want to use a gold token maybe. And there's lots of examples of gold tokens that exist today, like for example, PaxG or Tether Gold. But these gold tokens, they're actually just securitized assets. They take the gold and then they put them in a storage somewhere. And then they just issue centralized gold tokens corresponding to that amount. But they can change it. It's centrally issued, and you don't really know if the gold is really there or not, and how much, if it's really one-to-one. So it's not verifiable. But if you use this fully on-chain method with ICP and the Origin Foundation protocol and the Gold DAO and this chain of tokens that I explained, then you can do it decentralized, trustless, transparent, one-to-one, verifiably backed. And on top of this, you can also do other DeFi use cases. We can imagine lots of them. And then there's another aspect for stablecoins. Actually, the regulation for stablecoins is getting more and more hard and enforced and stricter. So, for example, in Europe, there's the MiCA regulation, but actually this is happening globally. So the stablecoin market is being challenged by such regulations, and there's only two ways that now you can launch a stablecoin, let's say in Europe. Either you have to be fully compliant. This is what USDC is doing now with Circle. They're just being fully compliant with MiCA, but this is very, very hard and huge market entry barrier. This is the one way to do it. So there's only very few companies that can achieve this. It takes a very long time. Or you do it the decentralized way, like we do with GLDT and USDG, and then you're automatically compliant and there's no central issuer. So there's only these two ways you can do it. And if you do it the decentralized way, then you have it digitally native, it's unforced on chain, you use ICP, and you have the safest, most trustworthy real world asset, which is gold historically, that can be used for all these use cases that I described. And it can be multi-chain, actually. So this is, yeah, in my opinion, the most amazing use case for why you want to tokenize these real world assets like gold, but you can imagine silver, diamonds, and others, instead of just securitizing them where you can't do anything with it. Yeah, it's kind of like a really new space, a new future for finance and payments and PayFi. Yeah.
Thanks. And Cyril, same question to you.
Yeah, well, I think there are two most important things that we see from tokenization. The first one is obviously you wouldn't need to rely on custodian like with securities, the traditional securities. So you can hold your own assets on your non-custodial wallets. And the second one, the most important ones, is the fractionalization, because in our case, especially when it comes to like private equity funds or farmland, and then like a blue chip paintings, it's very difficult, for example, for our high net worth families to find buyers, because typically the price is quite high. So they can only target either institutional investors or other like high net worth families, right? Meanwhile, when you fractionalize these assets through a tokenization, then you can sell this ownership into a security token. And that's pretty much what we're doing. So we remove the barrier to entry, especially for the mass affluent and retail investors, so that they can access to the investment opportunities or products or assets that are previously only available to institutional investors or professional investors. Meanwhile, for the family office or the high net worth families, they can get much better access to liquidity. I mean, tokenization itself will not solve the liquidity because it is professional market makers who creates liquidity. But by combining the tokenization and the market makers, which they will be available in our secondary market. So that's basically how we create the liquidity for our clients, for these high net worth families.
Thanks. So the next question is kind of just open question, just anything that I missed or anything that you wanted to bring up. We don't have much time, so I want to make sure everybody was able to talk about what they wanted to talk about. And if not, just forward-looking statements, what's going on down the pike with the particular platform. So Zach, start with you.
Yeah, I think this is an exciting space. Just broadly, this one that we're in right now, but also the broader crypto space is very exciting to see how it has evolved and how it will continue to evolve. I think of like most of the panelists are heavily involved in the DeFi world. We're on, I'd say, the very early stages of what it looks like when you put a physical, tangible item on chain, and kind of the implications that take place in a DeFi setting. Now you have the opportunity to lend and borrow it easier. You can trade it. Like one of my favorite companies and projects is Reserve Protocol, and they're in the stablecoin world. They're building asset-backed stablecoins, and so it's very exciting to see how is real estate when it's tokenized. How is that going to play a role in the an asset-backed stablecoin? How is a very valuable high dollar item painting? How is that going to play a role in DeFi? So that's some of the stuff that some of the questions that we have to still answer. But it's exciting to be here and be able to be a part of that evolution and see, like Sorel was saying, there's a difficulty with high net worth individuals being able to sell, like if they want to sell or if they want to have an appraisal on an item. You got to trust the appraiser. It's got to be a reputable source. You got to trust that it's the authentic item. So there's a whole bunch of factors. But it basically, like everyone's been saying, is slowly will remove the barrier to entry and an opportunity that's available. And if from our end, luxury products dealing with more high net worth individuals, then being able to tap into some extra liquidity, but also providing access to like kind of democratizing the realm of what has typically been isolated or siloed to high net worth individuals. Now the general public can have access to these luxury goods. So sorry for the ramble, but that's kind of like some top of mind stuff. Overall, it's exciting to be here and and get to see kind of the beginning stages of this evolution of what DeFi will look like and how it and its implications on traditional finance or the adoption of traditional finance and DeFi and kind of what that merging will look like.
I know that the collectible market, or in statistics, that it outperformed most of the traditional U.S. equity markets. So just having that opportunity and fractionalizing things that people couldn't afford before opens up a whole floodgate of new capital. Ross, I want to pass it to you though.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Zach, for your insights. So, look, it is great to see their adoption of real-world assets and of tokenized securities, because I have been already 5 years in the market and been in Starbucks. At the beginning, spent 2 years with zero revenue, zero clients. I know how it's challenging to explain for them what tokenization is and why clients need so. So great to see that we are moving forward and we see a constant growth from year to year. And we see the big adoption of big institutions like BlackRock that currently acting as a benchmark in tokenization industry also. And I think that one of the crucial parts of the full vehicle is their education, right? That's why we in Starbucks a few weeks ago introduced their Starbucks Academy to educate businessmen and general public about tokenization. Also, we launched just recently rwa.media, our own media that will streamline and digest about tokenization, because I think it is the crucial point to share the knowledge, to share the news, and I think it's not about their competition, because in this world you have trillions of dollars and hundreds of trillions of dollars that could be tokenized. It is about the collaboration, and great to see all of you guys, and great to see your contribution to the industry. And I think that we just in the beginning. Thank you.
Thanks. And Jake, anything that we missed that you want to discuss?
Well, I can give you a little 10 minutes ahead of time alpha. We're just about to release a post saying that finally our lending and borrowing markets are coming online within the next couple of weeks to a week. So, people have been waiting for this for a while, but they've been extremely patient. So I'm extremely excited to finally get some of these markets out and, give people the tools to, change their financial situation, make complex financial strategies that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Thanks, Jake. And Michael, is there anything that we missed that you want to discuss?
Yeah, sure. It's very interesting how Jake, you also talked so much about the stable coins. It really seems that this is the big topic now. Yeah, from our side, you know, we really want to solve the problem of central banks printing too much money. Everyone knows that the financial system is broken. Everybody's suffering from the inflation because of the monetary debasement. This is the fundamental problem that, you know, we want to solve. And we don't want to have stablecoins replace the fiat, but you know, complementary, growing more and more use of stablecoin adoption compared to the fiat because of how broken that system is. And we know historically that gold, it's the one asset that's the most trusted historically. Until 1973, 1973 there was the gold standard. Since then, not anymore. The central banks have been printing freely, and it creates this currency debasement over time, which makes all the people in the world suffer. So yeah, and actually gold is still being used as the main reserve in many central banks, including the US. Yeah. And so with the gold DAO, we really want to introduce a proper trustless gold-backed stablecoin. I think this is kind of like going back to the gold standard, but also going back to the future. And with the gold DAO in this way, it's not just a concept or a project, like a movement towards a more secure, fair, and decentralized financial future. I think it's doable thanks to technologies nowadays like the internet computer, blockchain, advanced RWA protocols. I think it's just the beginning. And yeah, we're launching the Bitty Gold primary gold NFTs on bitty.com, Bitty Gold next month. And then the swap where you lock up your gold NFTs to mint the gold tokens. And then later on this year, beginning of next year, the gold-backed stablecoin. And you will be able to use this via the Bitty wallet, which is a multi-chain wallet that you can find on and Play Store or Apple Store. So all of these puzzle pieces coming together, we think there's a really big future for PayFi gold-backed stablecoins. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this kind of exciting mass adoption, which I think will gradually occur over the coming 5 years. Yeah. And thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on. Cyril, also, anything that we missed that you want to discuss?
Well, I think there are two things from my side. The first one is, I believe, about the regulatory changes, as we are seeing that the regulatory in many jurisdictions are maturing. I think it's very important to have a regulatory certainty, especially when we're talking about the security tokens, so that with more jurisdictions adopting much clearer regulations when it comes to tokenization, then we believe that there will be more adoption coming in, especially from the global, not only in Europe, but also in Asia, the US, and Africa. And the second thing, what I'm looking forward is the regulation for tokenization, like direct tokenization of assets, because at the moment you can't really tokenize the assets directly. Typically, you will need to wrap the assets into an SPV. So when we amend these regulations, so there will be no regulatory constraint anymore, then I think there will be a huge change, especially with the asset tokenization, because in this case, then you can directly tokenize, for example, farmland or, like real estate without necessarily having an SPV to wrap these assets. So that's what I believe will be happening in probably in the next 5 years. And that will be the big game changer that will bring the market of asset tokenization into another level.
Thanks. And so, Zach, can you just tell us where we could find more about Galileo Protocol and where we could find you on any social media?
Yeah. So my Twitter handle is at Zach Atkins, but you don't really want to talk to me. You want to connect with the team. So go to at Galileo Protocol is our Twitter. Our website is galileoprotocol.io. And then if you're curious about the marketplace, we're currently in the midst of an airdrop campaign that is I've labeled as our farmer pool, which is you make a transaction on the marketplace and you qualify as part of the airdrop. So that is gold.galileoprotocol.io. Encourage you to check it out. And yeah, those will be the best places to reach us, website and Twitter.
Thanks. How about you, Ross?
Thank you. You can find me also in Twitter at Ross Shemeliak or Stobox Company, as well as you can check all of their social media links at our website stobox.io.
Thanks. Jake, where can we find more about Kinetic or follow you?
Well, if you have any carrier pigeons and or smoke signals, that would be a good one. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at kinetic_markets. On the top of our profile, there is a link tree. It's got all of our many various links that I won't waste your time rambling off, but that's at kinetic_markets.
Appreciate it, Jake. And Michael, how about you?
Yeah, you can see our website called the Gold DAO website. It's gold-dao.org. There you'll also find all the links to the Gold DAO dashboard and the GLDT swap app launching soon, and the USDG plan, and our roadmap, and all our social media. The Twitter account handle of the Gold DAO is at GLDRWA. And yeah, we look forward to people exploring to buy gold NFTs, and then later the GLDT. You can pre-check bity.com, BITY.com, which is the crypto broker in Switzerland, which will launch the Bity Gold primary marketplace for the gold NFTs. And you can also check out the Bity wallet, which is one of the only wallets in the world that supports multi-wallet, multi-chain, and multi-account. So yeah, you can find that on Play Store or Apple Store.
Thank you. And Cyril, how about you? Where can we find more information? Cyril, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can find CrowdGenix at crowdgenix.com, or you can go to our Twitter at CrowdGenix, and you can also find on our other social media channels, including LinkedIn. And you can visit, so we'll be launching our we'll have public launch for our primary market and also the tokenization engine somewhere around Q4 this year. We will start from Aleph 0, and then we'll deploy the platform on other chains after that. Thank you.
Thanks. And I want to just thank everybody for taking the time, and I really appreciate you guys coming on and educating us about each protocol, each platform that you guys are working on. Thanks.
Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.